Yes! You know, we are barreling into the weekend fully amplified because we're starting off with the Amped Up podcast with BC Amplified for Friday, July 14th, 2023. And you know what that means. It's Friday. You know what that means. How can WWE butcher the booking of LA Knight? Yeah. Well, there's only one way to find out. I'd say actually tune in tonight to Smackdown, but you probably won't see him unless they finally heard the rage from much of the wrestling community last week. Madison Square Garden, Smackdown, a few weeks away from SummerSlam, one of the most over dudes in all of pro wrestling, and you completely leave him off the show. You put him in a dark segment before the show so everybody can shut up, not chant LA Knight throughout the show, and not ruin your show. That's what they did. They put LA Knight out before SmackDown in a segment where he's beating up Hit Row. Nobody cares about Hit Row. So when you do put LA Knight on TV, is he just going to continue to beat up Hit Row in the SummerSlam? Is that the best you got for the dude that is white hot right now? Is that what Schnoz McGee, Pinocchio, Pussface, Hunter Hearst Helmsley, Paul Levesque McMahon, Doofus son-in-law? Is that really what he had in mind when he looked at the media after Money in the Bank and said, as far as LA Knight goes, sure, he lost, but good things come to those that wait. Treating LA Knight like he's one of his kids, one of his daughters. The dude is 41 years old. I don't think he looks at you as Papa H, and he doesn't need you to look at him like he's your child. He's not going to be spanked. He's not going to hide into a corner when he's being punished. He doesn't need to be talked down to. He's white hot. He just needs proper booking. That's all. If you're not going to have him win Money in the Bank and you're going to strap that briefcase to boring-ass Damian Priest, oh, I don't care if that hurts your feelings. You didn't get the memo when you came in. We all like Damian. We want the best for Damian. It's boring as shit having the briefcase with Damian. Damian teasing a cash-in every week for the foreseeable future is boring, and it helps make Monday Night Raw boring. And if that truth and factual information truly hurts your feelings, Elizabeth, it's the big one. I can feel it. If you're going to have a heart attack over that truth, it's tough shit. The briefcase on LA Knight, fun. The briefcase on Damian Priest, snooze fest. But if you're going to have LA Knight lose Money in the Bank, okay, you're in Madison Square Garden. The dude is ultra white hot. You're a few weeks from SummerSlam. Let's think of something fun for LA Knight, at least for Madison Square Garden to set up SummerSlam. No, we're going to leave him off the show. We're going to shut New York down by putting him in the first dark segment. See? You saw LA Knight. Now can you shut up? We have an Austin Theory match coming up. We have Charlotte Flair beating up Asuka, Io, Bayley, and Bianca all at once. Yeah. We have to make time for Charlotte Flair and Austin Theory. You know, all the people that we've been trying to force feed you for years, and you still don't care. Not one iota, not one fraction, not some semblance of care is being driven from any fan. But those are the ones we're going to push. Anyway, clearly that went into left field with a hockey stick. That was not how we were planning on starting this Amped Up podcast for Friday, the 14th of July, but something made me think, oh, it's Friday. It's SmackDown. Oh, I can't wait to see LA Knight. But chances are, Beasley, you're probably not going to see LA Knight. Or he'll be with Hit Row. Oh, I tell you, man, this is, but before, whoa, before we even kick off, man, I see a super chat from one of the podcasts I put up yesterday from Ashley. Ashley N with a 10-spot super thanks super chat from one of the uploads yesterday. Ashley says, in appreciation... Whoa, let me start from the jump. Hey, BC. Hey, Ashley. Hey, Ashley. Hey. Ashley says, hey, BC, in appreciation for the 2 amplified podcasts you put out today, enjoy a couple of coffees on me. Salute. Literally spelt coffees. Exactly how BC would pronounce it. Ashley, you know the way to BC's heart. Much love and respect. I appreciate the coffees, but you know the routine. I appreciate you being up in these chats more than anything. Full amplified salute right back to you, Ashley. I'm going to crack this one open, actually. We're going to come right after you guys smash that up. Smash it. Smash it. Just give it a smash, man, because this podcast is packed, stacked, and jacked. That's right. Big Muscles McGee is bringing it today. Big Daddy Muscles. That's right. Big Daddy Magic. Daddy Magic over in AEW. Daddy Muscles is bringing it today, bro. You can probably tell I already had 6 coffees, and it's not even 11 a.m. Is it even 10 a.m.? Who knows? Come right on back after you smash those ups. Grab your beverage, and you better come back fully amplified. We got a big topic to discuss today. Wardlow. We know his time in AEW is just done. It's done. Tony Khan can't book him, doesn't know how. I don't even think he cares to anymore. The question now is can WWE save Wardlow? That's the big discussion. It needs to be talked about. Thankfully, you found the channel that has the balls to talk about it. Grab your coffees. Get your balls from Stephanie's purse. Let's get amplified. Again, Ashley, I appreciate that super. I really caught that as we were recording. I was Xing out of something. I saw Ashley's super thanks super chat. It's illuminated in a different color pattern with super thanks. So I'm glad I caught that. Now I really do have to exit out of that, though. There we go. Okay. Now, first and foremost, I didn't even crack this yet, guys. As we ended the cold open, I literally had to take care of some important business. And this little guy, how you doing, Duncan? Huh? How you doing? I'd be doing better, BC, if you cracked me open here. It's getting hot in here. Give me some air. All right, I'm going to open you now. Relax, Coffee. Freaking Duncan with a mouth on him. Anyway, I'm going to crack this now if you don't mind, guys. And then we'll start this show off. You know, interesting enough, because we're going to talk Wardlow in today's podcast. And I put up 2, as Ashley said, that was the whole reason for the super thanks, super chat, 10-spot coffee. The whole reason was we put up 2 amplified podcasts yesterday. It was a double dose. If you combine them both, it was well over 2 hours, nearly 2.5 hours of content. If you guys didn't catch them, check them out, man. A lot of good conversation. Ronda Rousey exiting WWE, a possible UFC return. We talked Kenny Omega telling fans to shut the fuck up if you don't like his wrestling or style or the moves that he puts on. Literally said, shut the fuck. We go over the whole conversation. We also talk Warner Brothers Discovery and why they will not finalize the new TV rights deal yet. In fact, giving AEW's legal department notice on new rules that they have. Legal then sent a document to all AEW talent, barring and banning many things that can no longer be done, and another separate list of things you have to get approved beforehand. We talk everything, or a lot of the things that are on those lists. You're going to be probably shocked, but it's a conversation that had to be had, and we had that conversation yesterday in that double podcast. And you got to feel bad for Mox. Everything on this list is everything Mox does. Mox is like, damn, I'm out of a job. We also talked to Jey Uso, fans thinking Jey Uso is the one to take the title off of Roman Reigns. It has to be Jey or bust at SummerSlam in Detroit. BC says not so fast. That's kind of delusional. We have a real honest conversation about that. We talked AEW's Collision rating, or Dynamite's rating, not Collision, Dynamite's rating. No competition, not even any MLB baseball game. No baseball this week. It's off because of the All-Star game on Tuesday. They don't pick up until, I think, maybe tonight they start back up. But no individual games all of Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday. No games at all. No competition. And heading into Blood and Guts, and you have All In coming up as well, and All Out. So big week for AEW. Was Dynamite able to capitalize and try to get away from that 850 and try to get back toward the 900s? Unfortunately, something drastic happened the other way. And unfortunately, Dynamite went backwards, but we did have to talk about it. There was a lot we discussed, man. It was 2 podcasts. Check them out, man. So much was talked about. Ashley, I appreciate, man. I appreciate that you appreciated those. That really does amplify me even more, man, to know that these double doses, you guys enjoy them. You know, sometimes I don't know if it's too much amplification in one day, you know, but then I see the support that you guys give it. And I say, you know what? No, if I want to give 3 podcasts in a day, you know what? I'm going to give 4. That's right. If I want to do 3, maybe I'll do 4. BC, will you open me or what, man? Oh, Duncan, shut up. Let me crack this son of a bitch before he mouths off some more. You guys see that YouTuber? Yeah, he does those podcasts. He talks to his coffee. Weird dude. He talks to his coffee. His name is Duncan. He talks like an old 70-year-old Italian, you know? He's like, open me, BC. And BC talks back to him. I don't know, man. For new subscriber, for people just finding the channel, they're like, whoa, the fuck is this guy? How many coffees does he drink in a day? You don't want to know. It's not healthy. Your Surgeon General will tell you to do the opposite. Salute, unit. Oh, man, BC is fucking raging right now, man. BC is on that shit. It's not going to be a double dose today, though, guys. I have a lot of business later. Wow, man, I have to hit up all the... I got to go Brooklyn, Queens, Bronx, you name it. I got to do, like, the loop. So I don't got to get on a plane, at least, for this weekend. That's the good news. I got to do the New York loop. Oh, motherfucker. No, because I just have I have a little bit of business in every... It's just the way that I orchestrated the business for today. Hey, what business? You don't need to know, huh? Don't worry about the business, all right? Waste management, all right? All right. What the fuck are we talking about? Let's get on to the topic, man. Oh, that's what I wanted to discuss. Okay, so we're going to talk Wardlow. But in doing such, you guys know, I'm going to put my serious cap on right now, okay? Right, ready, and boop, serious cap is on. Now, we're going to get serious. We're going to talk Wardlow. But in doing these podcasts, I always do my due diligence for you guys. You know that. I always do my research. I always make sure my ducks are in a row. One of the things that I would end the channel right now if I was ever to become an opinionated channel only. You know, there's too many people that just... They get behind a microphone and they just give you their opinions. And they spew just stupid shit, discussions nobody wants to talk about. It's boring. It's just bad. Right? No, I don't want to be opinionated. I just want to drop facts, man. And I want to have honest discussions, but filled with facts. So, in doing my due diligence, I was looking up pro wrestling contracts. Okay? And... especially because a lot of you guys, and one of the big stories yesterday was Ronda Rousey leaving WWE. And a lot of people were wondering, like, how can she just leave like that? I mean, isn't she contractually obligated to stay for as long as they want? And don't forget, they added time on, supposedly, we heard, for the time she had taken off. But there was never any real details with her contract. It was interesting. I come across... And I had to scratch and claw for this. I had to go through certain individuals to get this sheet, but it's a sheet. It's the most viable, reputable sheet of wrestler contracts that I could possibly come across. It's not easily accessible. I don't even think you guys can. Again, I had to scratch and claw and ask the right people. But I came across the list, and I got the WWE contracts and AEW. It's all pro wrestling contracts. But what's interesting, besides The Undertaker, by the way, being signed for 15 years in 2019, was that when he retired, 2019? Or was that 22? That was before the pandemic. I forget. I don't even know. Maybe that was last year. No, last year was the Hall of... I don't know. 2019, okay, when they already knew he was pretty much done. He signed a 15-year deal, taking him to 2034. Damn! Now, you know that's not just Legends deal, guys, because some wrestlers get like 5-year Legends deals, right? So they can keep putting out action figures, but they won't get robbed. You know, WWE is protecting themselves. They'll get a little bit, but WWE will get the most. No, this isn't this is an actual contract that The Undertaker signed a few years ago. It's a 15-year deal. You guys know what this is. This is so Kennedy McMahon cannot see The Undertaker show up to any promotion in the future. Because he's seen wrestlers who say, I'm not going to do it, and they did it, right? So this was his way to say, nope. I am making sure you wrestle for no other promotion as long as he's still taking in that Stamford, Connecticut air. Vince McMahon will not allow himself to see Undertaker in another company. 15-year deal. Anyway, that caught me by surprise. And then another thing that caught me by surprise a little bit, because I thought there was at least a date, but it was flexible. No, Ronda Rousey has her contract start date, and it's the only person on the roster. Guys, not even Brock Lesnar has this. The dash, and then the expiration date is just a dash, another dash. There's no expiration date. And this is the most reputable contract sheet that you're going to come across, that I'm going to come across. Anybody would. I'm just fortunate enough to come across it. Ronda Rousey doesn't have an expiration date. We thought we knew when she first signed. We thought we all knew what it was. Reputable people were saying what it was. No. It's actually a dash. Something happened where they finagled some type of extension where it was never actually identified as to her end date, which is why she can just say, hey, I don't want to do this tag team thing anymore. I just want to wrestle Shayna in 4 weeks. At that time, now it's less than 3. And then I'm just going to go off my own way. Maybe I want to do UFC. Maybe I just want to commentate in UFC. Maybe I want to do a separate show for Dana White. Maybe I want to go have more babies. Maybe I want to fly to the moon. I just don't want to be here. She's obviously unhappy. She's miserable. We know that. And that's sad to say. Unpopular take. I actually liked Ronda a lot in UFC. I actually was a supporter / fan. And I wanted the best in WWE, and everything was botched. She was not her best. When she first got here, she was amazing with The Rock, looking at Triple H and Stephanie McMahon, and you thought, okay, that's a cool mixed tag. And then they ended up having a mixed tag the following year at Mania, but it was not with The Rock. I believe it was Kurt Angle and Ronda Rousey versus Stephanie and Triple H. And she looked good in that match. She looked amazing. Now, I know that was heavily rehearsed, and as time goes on, she's not going to be putting in that time, and they're not going to dedicate the time to her. And that's what happened. The mic skills, she never found them. What made her special in UFC, she talked a lot of shit to the fans, to her fellow talent. The fighters, she would say fuck you to Dana and not give a shit, and that's what made her special. And she got deemed the baddest woman on the planet because she'd knock you the F out, many ladies. And then she got to WWE, and it was clear she was more WWE in UFC than she should have been in the actual WWE. It was a flop. Booking failed her and botched. She failed herself and botched. Nothing ever got better. It just got worse. And now we're at a crossroads. No pun intended to Cody Rhodes, but we're at a crossroads where, unfortunately, it's sad to say, but I think the best for everybody right now is Ronda just to take off. And if she ever comes back, cool. But I hope everybody found the recipe for success and that we don't just do this in the future. And if she wants to do UFC, that's totally fine. But guys, she just has a dash. There's no real expiration date. So a lot of people wondering how she can just tell Paul Levesque McMahon, hey, I'm done. Well, that's how. There's no end date. They're basically on a handshake. I mean, there's got to be fine print. There's got to be legal print But it might as well be a handshake because she can just say, I'm out, and that's it. Even Brock Lesnar cannot do that. He has an end date to the contract. It's very, very... I just wanted to add that in because we're about to talk about contracts and Wardlow, and that's just a little bit of a spin-off from yesterday's discussions. Okay. Just some interesting things I come across, right? That's why I started the podcast. Let's have real, honest discussion. I don't care how long it takes. If you guys got to keep coming back and forth throughout the day, right? You're changing your kid's diaper, listening to a little bit. Then you got to go pick up your other kids that you totally forgot were still at school. And then you come back later, you put in the earbuds, you got BC on for your jog. You're actually running away from you say you're going for a run. You're trying to run away from your fucking life. Your fucking 5 kids. Your overbearing, over-controlling wife. You got the Goomba waiting for you at the motel, and she wants more money. And you just want to pop in the earbuds. BC, just talk some wrestling, brother. But I don't care if you got to keep coming back and forth throughout the day. If this takes 2 hours, that's why I started the podcast, man. Anything that comes to mind, let's talk about it, right? Over some coffee. All right, Wardlow. AEW fans might not be happy about this discussion, but it's one that has to be had. So I hope AEW fans come on in and have the talk with BC and the Amplified unit. If not, salute. I don't know what to tell you. I don't know what you expect from Wardlow going forward. You saw the best from him. Unfortunately, that shouldn't be the case, but that is. You see? Oh, that's fucking good, man. I have that in the freezer, or was that in the... What the fuck? I got my own office studio freezer and fridge for coffees. No joke. An own office studio. Not one of those little mini bitches either. No, it's filled with these motherfuckers. Sometimes I put them in the freezer, but I didn't think this one would. This one's ice fucking cold. Unreal. Anyway, Wardlow in AEW, can we all agree? Butchered, botched, finished. Can we all agree with that, right? Because we can't even say, no, basically, maybe he takes some time off, come back, totally repackaged. I think he can be saved in AEW. No, we've done that before. And then again. And then again. And then again. 4 times. I make a joke and said 5 times after 3, but it really became 4 times. Soon it's going to be 5 times, literally, and no longer a joke. 4 times they've ruined Wardlow through the most not bad booking. Let's bring it down because I want everybody to hear these words. It's not bad booking. It's straight up shitty booking. Like booking where you're trying to sabotage somebody. Booking that you would expect from Vincent Kennedy McMahon or Paul Levesque McMahon. Doofus son-in-law. It's that type of booking when they don't like somebody and they take out a golden shovel and they start the digging process themselves. In fact, the booking is so bad that the talent is digging their own fucking grave and they don't even know it. Because they're being fed horse shit behind the scenes. Oh man, you do this job, you get booked like this, and we're going to have special plans for you going forward. You know how many times WWE talent has been said that? They did the deed for the old bastard in Stanford, and no balls McGillicuddy, Levesque, and they did the job, and then before you know it, they were out of a job. Don't put it past Tony Khan just because he's a better dude. He's a gooder dude. He's a nicer dude. He's a more respectable dude. No. Wardlow's booking will tell you that Tony Khan, and I'll be generous here. I'm not just going to go out and say Tony Khan doesn't know how to book his talent. Tony Khan doesn't know how to book his big boys, for sure. Tony Khan doesn't know how to book the big men. AEW was never built for the big men. It was always built for the Young Bucks. For Orange Juice Cassidy. For Darby Hot Topic Allen. It was always booked for the Ospreys. It was always booked for the Hooks and the Nick Waynes. For the Dantes and the Dariuses. For the Dan Garcias and the Utahs. It was always booked for that. It wasn't booked for dinosaurs, Luchasauruses. It wasn't booked for Brian Cages. Sure as hell wasn't booked for Wardlow. But something happened along the lines. As time went on, Wardlow got super over. Hitched up with one of the best dudes in pro wrestling, character development-wise, Maxwell Jacob Freeman, MJF. Yeah! Was that different? Sorry, LA. MJF, he's hitched up with him. Sometimes that works. Sometimes you get linked up with the right dude, you're special. Sometimes it doesn't work. As much as I liked Sid Vicious with Shawn Michaels, I personally liked it. A lot of metrics will tell you it did not work, actually. Sid Justice and Shawn Michaels just didn't work. Big Daddy Cool Diesel, Kevin Nash and Shawn Michaels, Nash as the bodyguard, that worked. Metrics told you that. Some things work, some things don't. Some variations of the Four Horsemen were amazing, other variations not so much. But Wardlow with MJF, man, it was a recipe for success. It was sitting in their lap. And before you know it, in AEW's existence so far, just over 5 years, the best storyline that BC and many of you feel they did was actually MJF and Wardlow. It was actually must-see TV. Even on those Wednesday nights where BC had too much business to attend to, or I was out in the world, I had to stay over at hotels, I made it a point to find out when Wardlow's segment was on because I had to see it. It was appointment television. It was must-see. Wardlow, MJF, man. Wardlow walking out in handcuffs, but somehow still taking out 12 security guards and chasing down MJF. You say not believable, BC. I say bullshit, Amp Unit. Bullshit. I always said this, and this is why I say Bray Wyatt with supernatural powers, or Papa Shango with voodoo, or an Undertaker shooting lightning bolts out of his hand. I'll believe it. You just gotta make us believe it. Pro wrestling has always been a wacky world of ludicrous craziness, but we love it. We suspend our disbelief. In my view, we suspend the reality and we enter the wacky world of ludicrous craziness that is pro wrestling. That's why we believe the voodoo, the lightning bolts, and the supernatural powers. That's why we can, I guess, for fans today, believe that somebody can kick out at 2.5 from 16 super kicks, 4 Canadian destroyers, 3 pedigrees, and 2 Batista bombs. And to top it off like a cherry on top, a Wardlow bomb. But after all that, they kick out at 2.5 of a count. Wouldn't they be knocked out for 4 days after all those moves? No, we suspend it, right? That's fine. So you want me to believe that Wardlow is in handcuffs, taking out 12 security guards and chasing down pro wrestler MJF? I'll believe it. You got to make me believe that a character like Wardlow would produce such accounts. Well, guess what they did? They did that with Wardlow. From day one, it was more than believable that Wardlow, that character, would and could and ended up doing just that. You make us believe. It happens over time. Right? They say Rome wasn't built in a day. Well, a pizza isn't made in 10 seconds. Not even DiGiorno. Although it is getting that way. You used to have to pop that sumbitch in the oven for 20 minutes. Now you can just microwave it for 2. Anyway, off the topic of pizza, it's a process. But if you do it correctly, we will believe it. A lot of people claim they don't like Bray Wyatt. Not believable. I don't like Bray. He's boring. He's this, he's that. But to prove that that is a vocal minority, the metrics, the numbers, the suspense and intrigue from fans tells a different story. He's always the top-rated segment when he is on Monday Night Raw. It's sad that we have not seen Bray in a long time, but he's always the top-rated segment. Or SmackDown. or right there with Roman if he's blue brand status. Metrics numbers have showed us that the only person at the time to beat Roman in merchandise, Bray Wyatt twice. Now he's been defeated. I think Cody Rhodes got him around WrestleMania. But it was Bray Wyatt twice. Right. Every number you look at, social media metrics, Bray Wyatt topped the chart more than anybody, even Roman Reigns, guys, upon his return in the months leading up. And before his exit, he was actually number one in the social metrics. So I could even go further back. Every metric. So you can claim Bray doesn't work and this and that, and he needs to be his old character, and it works. People will suspend that disbelief, or if you view it as suspend the reality and enter the wacky world of wrestling, they'll do it. But it happens over time. You believe Bray Wyatt is that wacky dude that would do all that supernatural shit. You believe it. Wardlow taking out 27 security guards, 12 handcuffed, flipping over cars. That's a fun Wardlow. And we're all on board because that's how he was booked steadily. And then Tony did what Tony does often. When they're super over, immensely white hot, gone. We can do better than that. There you go. Gone. And they start muffing it up. And Tony Khan got too concerned with booking Dan Garcia and Wheeler, Utah. Maybe Orange Juice and Darby Hot Topic. Maybe Dante versus Darius, a brother collision. Who knows? But he got too caught up in doing all his little NJPW dream matches that he was such a fan of. And he started booking Wardlow really oddly, right? You guys remember when Punk went away? I'm being kind. Went away. Title was taken with him. They have to have an interim champion. I think they had like a tournament. Do you guys remember Wardlow? Tony Khan had Wardlow go out to the middle of the ring and say, I don't want to be a part of the tournament. I want to go for the mid-card title. Do you guys remember that? He went for the TNT Championship. When Shivani and them just said, whoever is the interim champion, they get the first shot, the first chance when Punk comes back with the title. And you're like, I don't care. I'm gonna mingle around in the mid-card. The excuse was, he wants the real title the right way. That was, just hold that thing for now. You're the guy at the top until the other guy comes, but he's gone. So you're now the guy at the top. And the biggest thing is when he comes back, you do what you said you wanted. You're the first guy to do it the right way. It didn't. The only thing that could make less sense is what Paul Levesque McMahon did with Austin Theory with the Money in the Bank cash-in. Cashing in on a mid-card title in the middle of a Monday Night Raw during an open challenge with an excuse that I didn't think I could beat Roman. And then a few months later says, I want to be in the Royal Rumble to earn a shot at Roman. Now you have to take on 29 other guys to take on a dude that you already had the briefcase to take on, but you said you didn't want to take on. None of it. The open challenge, but I'm going to cash in when I can just accept the open challenge. Middle of a Raw, mid-card title. The excuse of it all didn't make sense because you're trying to get back to Roman. Nobody thought about it. It was such a debacle. To this day, I don't know anything that could be worse than that. And I've seen Cody Rhodes lose at WrestleMania to Roman somehow. And nothing made sense after that. I just saw LA Knight completely botched. White hot. He's left off of WrestleMania. He's left off of Backlash. He's left off of Night of Champions. He loses Money in the Bank. And then he's kept off Madison Square Garden's big SmackDown show. And he's got nothing for SummerSlam as of right now as recording. So I've seen botches major, massive, into magnitudes of great amplificational heights. But I will say that takes the cake. But right there, right underneath that Austin Theory shit, Wardlow going into the middle of the ring and claiming, I don't want to be a part of the world title picture. I want to go for the mid-card title. Okay. So then we said, right, this is a real discussion, right? So let's go to what happened next. What did Tony Khan do to Wardlow when he got the TNT title. You in the back, that's right. AMP unit member. What was that? AMP unit member 921, I think it is. Stand up, please. I saw you with your hand up. What is it? Little louder, man. I got 2 earbuds in. Hold on. 921, AMP unit member. You are correct. Tony Khan did nothing. Nada, nilch, 0, 9. He did nothing. 9 is no in German, by the way. I have some German family members somehow down the family line, so I know that. 9! That's all I heard, right, growing up. 9! I was like, what? 8, motherfucker! But nothing. That is true. AMP unit member, 921. Appreciate you, brother. Good call. Tony Khan did nothing, and it was botched. It was butchered. It's not even memorable, right? This is your first title. You want to remember that, right? Like Mr. Perfect's first IC title reign, right? Shawn Michaels' first world title. You know, you want to remember that shit. You don't remember it. So then he got it again. A little bit of time. Dropped it over. Remember the whole Samoa Joe shit? You guys remember that? Samoa Joe, Wardlow, right, got it a third time, drops it to, who was it, Powerhouse? Or no, that was Luchasaurus. The second time was the, you don't even, I don't even need to research that because I just want to remember it for exactly what it was. A clusterfuck to the highest of levels, the most extreme of measures, and the most amplified of heights. It was a clusterfuck. I just remember him and Samoa Joe just playing tag with it, right? A little bit of merry-go-round, a little bit of tag, you're it. Throw the title on him. Chase me, throw it on me. And then fucking Samoa Joe with his fucking waddly ass. He catches up to Wardlow, tags him, throws the title on him. Powerhouse Hobbs somehow with QT Marshall. Remember that? Wardlow's table didn't even break. He was supposed to be powerbombed off of the fucking staging area through a table. But it just kind of nipped it, right? It just sank in a little bit. And he acted like he was knocked out for 27 years. I think that was actually like last man standing or something. He was literally counted out to 10, but he just went off the stage a couple of inches and threw a table a little bit. The table didn't even break. And he acted like he was knocked out for 27 minutes. Now you say, Beasley, it was just a botch, man. But if he did go through the table, would that be okay? No, because you booked this dude to be the beast, the monster, the absolute machine of AEW. We saw him take out all of your security and 70% of your roster on a weekly basis. And he can't take a powerbomb 3 inches off the stage? Did he get his back through the table a centimeter? Oh no, the machine is broke. Anybody got some oil, some lug nuts? Who's got a Phillips screwdriver? The machine is broke. What are you doing? I'm just asking, what are we doing here? And then Collision, the debut of Collision. I think he had the title there too, didn't he? The TNT Championship. Wasn't that the first match ever in Collision's history? That'll go down, I believe, as the first match. I think Miro's match with Billy Buttfuck McGee, or maybe it was Fuckwad Fred, I don't know, one of the local indie talents from around the area got annihilated by Miro. But I think that was later. I think the first match ever in AEW history will go down as Wardlow looking like a chump. But the dinosaur, Luchasaurus, defeats Wardlow on Collision. Now, at that point, he had the title for like maybe 2 months, maybe. I might be being generous. But Wardlow had just gotten the title back. You already know you butchered him. You botched this dude full throttle from day one. After his MJF awesomeness. And then you do it again. Now you could say, BC, a minor injury, or BC, he had to get something. It's in the booking. If you got somebody, if BC is head of booking, head of creative in AEW, and you tell me Wardlow needs to go away for a while, he's got the title. Should we have him lose it and just like a straight up squash real quick? And by the way, that was a real wrestling match. It was nothing, even if he wants to claim injury, there was nothing that severe or serious because he had a wrestling match. It wasn't a straight up squash. But PC would say, okay, no, he's not even going to lose that title straight up. Fuck no. If you want to take out a machine, you take out a machine. I'd have a motherfucker in a monster truck or an 18-wheeler run the motherfucker down in the parking lot. That's right. And then you don't see Wardlow for a while. And then all the kids go to school and they're talking about that. Did you see Collision? What? Brian Cage just ran down Wardlow in a fucking monster truck. Christian Cage with a dinosaur in the passenger seat. Christian Cage just ran down Wardlow in the parking lot with an 18-wheeler, one of the AEW trailer trucks. Christian actually fucking stole the truck in the parking lot and ran down Wardlow. The kids will be talking about, what the fuck? I can't wait to see Wardlow come back. Dudes at the water cooler at their cubicle at work, their 9-to-5 shitty job. They'll be talking about that. Did you see fucking Wardlow get chased out, ran down in the parking lot, bruh? Who's talking the next day about the Luchasaurus pinned Wardlow? Well, of course he did, Timmy. It's Wardlow. He's a loser. That's what I mean. There's no creativity, man. You had something so special. And he just loses all these weird ways, man. He gets powerbombed off a staging area to a table that is basically the same level as the staging area, so you better hope the table breaks, and it didn't. So he just looked like an idiot who's taking a nap while he's being counted out to lose the title. He loses to a dinosaur on the first ever match of Collision. The list goes on of how this guy looks like a fucking chump, and he didn't help himself. Unless Tony Khan told him to shave his head or fucking look like a fucking bootleg Miz. I would have to think that's his idea, where he just like cut his hair, and that's great if you're donating that shit, you know, helping a good cause. But no, Wardlow should not be chopping his hair off. Remember, I think somebody actually cut it was it Samoa Joe? I think they did like a hair thing, and Samoa may have chopped it. No, and then he fucking took the facial hair. He comes back with a normal haircut, his little goatee thing where he just looks like a guy who's like a banker. You know, you go to Bank of America because you found out they fucking took $100 out of you and they were not supposed to, so now you gotta talk to Frank the banker. You talk to Frank on the phone, he said come in, so you storm in the Bank of America. Where's Frank? And here comes fucking Wardlow. Hi, I'm Frank Bonavista. How you doing? Well, come to my office. It's a little fucking cubicle in the corner because nobody gives a shit. Nobody even likes Frank. He looks like a banker. His little haircut, his little fucking clean-shaven goatee, whatever it is. He's got his singlet on. He's got a singlet now. A singlet. So he doesn't even look or feel like a badass anymore. There's no aura. There's no presence to this dude. And it leads us all to say, and we've been saying it for months and months before the Luchasaurus debacle, how can you possibly butcher somebody like Wardlow? How can you possibly butcher somebody like Wardlow? And it's not just once or twice. It has literally become a recurring theme. It's become a recurring theme in AEW. And he takes off for a little while, and he comes back, and you think, oh, now they got it. They got it this time, man. He's been off. Clearly, they've been in great talks, right? There's going to be a good repackaging here. They're going to remember what brought Wardlow to the dance, what made AEW so special around that time frame with him and MJF. They're going to remember that, do their due diligence, put in the work and the effort, the creative effort more than anything, and Wardlow is going to be something special. And he keeps coming back, and it's nothing. Nothing. So now we play this game for what will be now the 5th time. And you guys are telling me what? Let's do it again, but let's just see what this one happens. Let's see how this one turns out, basically. I'm willing to see where it leads to, basically. I'm done seeing it where it leads to. Tony Khan doesn't know how to book Wardlow properly, or at least not for the long run. Short term, he booked him very good. Long term, Tony Khan doesn't know how to do the big dudes. You know who does know how to book the big dudes? Those big men. Vincent Kennedy McMahon, Paul Levesque McMahon. Can't believe I'm giving them some praise here, right? You see that pause? I'm like, wow, am I really about to say something positive about Vinnie Mac and No Balls? But yes, not Miz, Paul Levesque McMahon. Or he's got them, but they're stuffed in Stephanie's purse. But they know how to book these big, but don't be fooled by bad booking of the big dudes. Right? I think a lot of people get that mixed up. No, but you see, they don't know how to book them either, man. No, they do. It's bad booking, right? Omos to the Great Khali to Giant Gonzalez. Anybody remember Giant Gonzalez? Okay, so yeah, that's just bad booking. That doesn't mean they don't know how to book the big dudes. From Andre the Giant all the way to The Undertaker, to take a dude the size of Mark Calloway and trust him with the Undertaker character. And he didn't just prove Vince right. It was actually Brewster Pritchard. Brewster Pritchard came up with that concept and really developed Mark Calloway's Undertaker character. So I got to give Bruce Pritchard a lot of credit. But Mark Calloway not only proved them right, but he went and turned The Undertaker into something that I'm sure Vince and Bruce never thought was possible. But that booking that Vince did with Undertaker and that big dude, because he's no small motherfucker, it was beyond proper. From Braun Strowman, even though he gets a lot of bad booking, but there was times where he had the rocket and we were intrigued. And then he does something stupid backstage, I guess, or Vinnie Mac changed his mind and he'll take 5 steps forward and then they drag him back a mile. But there was times he's flipping ambulances over. Pretty fucking cool. Braun Strowman taking Roman Reigns in a stretcher and tossing him off the loading dock area. There was some cool booking. They on purpose sabotaged it time after time. Big Daddy Cool Diesel. You give a dude the name Diesel and you're asking for a recipe for failure. But no, the way that Diesel was booked and Kevin Nash's sheer connection with a crowd, yeah, Diesel was booked more than properly. And you could keep going on with a lot of big dudes in WWE. Brock Lesnar, when he was booked to be on a tear and like a legitimate beast. In those first initial years back, you remember the beating he put on John Cena, for instance? Getting that title rather quickly, I mean, that's all believable. That was pretty proper booking. So what's my point, right? Wardlow's contract, whether you know it or not, it's coming up this year. That's it. Contract is up. Wardlow in the past has said, I would love to end my career in AEW. When asked again several months later, about a year ago, he said, I'm happy here now, but I would never say never. So it changed his tone a little bit. Here we are a year later. I'd really question how happy he is with everything going on in AEW concerning him and his booking. With a contract that is expiring this year. WWE's reported interest in this dude from the jump. The question has to now be asked. Not just would he fit in with the WWE, he'd obviously fit in better there than AEW. Can WWE save Wardlow is the question. What they have working for them is the knowledge on how to book the big men. The putting the focal point on the big boys like the Drew McIntyres or the Sheamuses or still to this day the Brockton Lesnars. This company will do that far quicker, way more, at a much grander scale than Tony Khan would do. So yeah, Wardlow fits in better there. Can he be saved? Paul Levesque McMahon has a special connection with those muscle dudes. He could look at him as his next project, as long as Wardlow looks at H as Papa H. Then that could be his next Batista. Wardlow could absolutely be one of Paul Levesque McMahon's pet projects. There comes a time where you got to make a big decision to help out your cause, your career, your own life. Sometimes you get comfortable at the place that you've been working at, but you know you got to take a gamble on yourself. Take a risk. See if the grass is greener on the other side. You'll never know until you find out. You could hop the fence, and there's nothing but shit in that yard. You find out the owners had 7 dogs, 4 cows, and 2 sheep. And somewhere there's a llama loose. There's shit all over the yard. You just want to go you want to go back where you came from. Please take me back, Tony. Please. You got no animals. No shit in the yard. I'll stay in my own little fucking doghouse in the corner of the yard. You won't even know I'm here. Just please take me back. Maybe. Maybe the grass is the most pristine grass you've ever come across. It's that special tint of green. It's almost like it's artificial, but it's real. It's finely cut 3 times a week, right? Not even you could go right eye level and you don't see one shred of grass that's higher than the other. It's perfectly fine-tuned. It's cared for with that special sauce they put over the grass. You know, the landscapers, for an extra fee, they put all that nice shine on the grass. It's even got sprinklers. And those sprinklers, they come on 3 times a day. 7 a.m., 1 p.m., and 7 p.m. Sprinklers. What the fuck? Ooh, fancy. Maybe the grass is greener on the other side. As somebody, if you've been following this channel, I don't cover a lot of AEW like I don't Impact, like I don't NXT, because I have a rule. If your show pulls 1 million viewers, I'll review it every week. It's a 1 million rule. No professional wrestling show with primetime television deals should be pulling in less than 1 million. I don't care about cord cutting. I don't care about streaming services. I don't care about highlights on YouTube. I don't care. 1 million is not asking a lot. Yes, I come from an era where we were pulling 7, 8, 9, but I do understand it's a different time and age. Wrestling is not as hot as it once was, and there is cord cutting, streaming, all that. I get it. But if you can't get 1 million people to have to tune in live on their big screen, no. If not a lot of people give a shit on the grander stage, why would I then take up their time talking about what not a lot of people are into? You get what I'm saying? So I don't talk a lot about these brands, about these companies, but Wardlow is somebody I've followed closely and talked a lot about because it was one of those stories that made me watch AEW wherever I was. I had to see what Wardlow did next. And it's sad ever since the MJF shit, what has happened to him. It's very sad to see what has happened to him. And it's not just once, twice, not even 3 times anymore. 4, and if he comes back, what we once did as a joke, a sad joke, 5 times they butchered this guy. If he gets butchered one more time, that's literally 5 times. 5 times. Come on, Booker, 5 times. 5 times they butchered the same guy that was once lightning white hot. I think this is one of those scenarios. I know this is one of those scenarios where this guy just has to have a talk with Tony and say, dude, I love you. I thank you for the opportunities you've given me. I'm going to test the waters. I'm going to sign 3-year deal, whatever it is, with Paul Levesque McMahon. I hope one day If the stars align, we can do business again. I want to leave amicably. I'm not going to talk any shit about this promotion. I have nothing bad to say. I've enjoyed my time. Right, have the conversation. But test the fucking waters, man. You know, one of the saddest things I hear recently was LA Knight and talking about how he just wishes that he didn't get this success earlier. You know, he's now, 41 years old, and he's like, I should have been in this spot a long, long time ago. And you hear AJ Styles talk about getting to WWE too late. You know, and AJ Styles just is always wondering, like, man, had I had 10 years beforehand in WWE, man, what this name, AJ Styles, would have been in WWE. You just hear a lot of people like that. Kenny Omega speaks about all the time he has to answer questions on, man, could you imagine ending your career and you never even stepped foot? You know, wrestling some of the big dogs in WWE. And that's something that will always, stay with him. Sting. How many times does Sting have to talk about? And talk in great length at times about not going to WWE sooner. And how there's many times he wishes he did do that. For many reasons. Wardlow is still so young that he can get that out of his system right the fuck now. Ric Flair was Mr. WCW, Mr. NWA, and there was a time when he had a little bit of falling out with them, around 1991, 92, I believe. And I love when he tells the story. He's like, listen, I was already on a falling out with them. I had the WCW title, by the way, the NWA, WCW title, and I'm like, I'm taking it with me to WWF, and he did that. But he's like, not only did I have this friction here, but I'm like, dude, I want to see if the grass is greener on the other side, and he went over there. And he enjoyed the time there, but the lucrative offer to go back to WCW was there, and he ended up taking that. He was only in WWF for 2 years-ish, give or take a few months. He was not there long, and he actually went back. But if you listen to Ric Flair today, he says one of his biggest regrets in all of wrestling was not staying in WWF at the time. My point is, you have, when your career is wrapping up, you look into the rear view mirror because unfortunately you run out of road at the end of your career. There's nothing left in the windshield. Unfortunately, you're just looking back in the rear view. And you're looking at all the decisions you made, man. Wardlow can stay in AEW and re-sign. But Wardlow most likely will be booked like this, if not worse. And I don't know what that says for him long-term career-wise. We're 3 to 5 years from now if he tries to go to WWF. Will it matter? Will they even want him? Whereas now, where there still is that desire to get somebody like Wardlow in there. Maybe you strike while the iron is hot. The only problem I could see is there's a dude that looks like him kind of right now, the look and the feel, Braun Breaker, and he hasn't debuted on the main roster yet. He was in a Raw backstage segment a few weeks ago, but other than that, he's just been losing left and right on his way out of NXT. But he's got that look. He even has the singlet, the short hair, the little clean-cut goatee. Maybe they look at him and go, not right now, kid. We already got a Wardlow. His name is Braun Breaker. But again, I think Paul Levesque McMahon, he's not going to be thinking Braun Breaker when he sees Wardlow. He's going to be thinking the next Batista. The question had to be asked. Can WWE save Wardlow? Listen, if he stays in AEW, if he signs in World Wrestling Entertainment, I just hope they understand this guy has a lot to offer. It's now or never. Book him proper or stand by the decisions you made when it falls flat on its face. Own up to it, Tony Khan. And if he goes to WWE and he's unable to be saved, well, then that falls on Levesque McMahon. My name is BC Amplified. This is the Amped Up Podcast, Friday, July 14th, 2023. A salute to all my Amplified unit members. Red Team Go! And especially my Gold Team. my Gold Unit channel members. Much respect to every single one of you guys. There'll be a channel members only live stream coming up next week, maybe for Monday Night Raw. The pre-show to Raw on Monday. There's still more content to come this week. Amped Up featuring the SmackDown review will be in the next 24 hours. We'll talk LA Knight. Was he on the show even? We'll discuss what happened with the next chapter in the Bloodline. Jey Uso, Roman Reigns set for SummerSlam. How do they try to go? You ain't going to top what happened last week, but how are you going to go along with this story after the 45-minute segment from last week and the ending segment, nearly a full hour to the Bloodline? And we know, or at least we're told, that Roman Reigns is not in the building for SmackDown. So now the Usos are going to have to carry this with Paul Heyman and Solo somehow. But we'll talk the SmackDown review. That's coming up within the next 24 hours. So, with that said, until next time, and there will be a next time, Top Guy, I'm out. BC and his Duncan saying check you. Salute.